This alone has saved thousands of marriages, and I'm not joking. It's a very powerful context, okay? And the context is the bowl and the water analogy, okay? This is a general context for your relationship that you can start using now. It's given to you for free and it's very powerful. And I hope you put it into action. But before you do that, understand it. So we're gonna talk about it a little bit. I want to say it in a way where the feminine and the masculine are two different animals. Okay, they behave differently. They communicate differently. They they act differently. They react differently, and you need to be able to differentiate between the feminine and the masculine. The bowl represents the masculine. The water represents the feminine. The water is in the bowl. Okay? Now look at the character traits of each. The water is wishy washy. It can be in a storm. It can be calm. It can be wavy. It's constantly moving, right? Any little push to the water starts to make it wave, right? But the bowl is the same regardless how the water is. The bowl is sturdy. It holds the water in place. It doesn't have holes, so the water doesn't leak, right? So it's a full bowl, very sturdy. It doesn't matter if the water is in a storm or if it's calm. The bowl is always the same. So I want to invite you to take on this context when you're looking at your marriage, where you are the bowl and your wife is the water. So when your wife is doing something and you take on the context that she's being the water, splashing, arguing, changing her opinion based on her feelings from time to time, all the things that typically would piss somebody off, right? Or piss a man off. Or, okay, well, you wanted me to choose a restaurant because you didn't want to choose a restaurant. I chose one. Now you want to choose one? You want to change it, right? Things like that, right? But when you put the water analogy to it, to the feminine, it becomes very clear what's happening. And for yourself, putting the bowl analogy on you, well, we talked about the character traits of the bowl. Well, how do you need to show up in any given situation within your marriage to execute the behaviors of the bowl, which is sturdy, solid, immovable, and regardless of how the water is, it remains the same. So regardless how your wife is, you remain the same. Your wife can be this way one day or 1 minute and then this way, but you're the same. You're solid, consistent, reliable, right? Those are the things that represent the bowl. And I beg you, take on this analogy when you're starting to look at your wife's behavior, your behavior, and how you view your relationship as a whole. It will make a big difference. Anything you want to add, John?
Yeah, it really is that solid, consistent, and reliable that we always talk about, right? And now that seed has been planted, Andres invited you to try it on and take it on and put it to work in your life. And I'm inviting you to pay attention to the situations where it's evident that there are cracks in the bowl. There are certain situations where, hey, I can be with my kids all weekend, solid, consistent, and reliable, no problem. But man, if my wife is splashing, I'll start taking it out of my kids. Or if I can be solid, consistent, and reliable with my wife and have a great time, we go on a date night. But if she comes home and she's annoyed about something or she doesn't put out at the end of the night, well, then I'm upset about something. Or I start being cold towards her. So try it on, but inside of that, also bring the awareness and the attention to what are the things that show that there are cracks in the boat, show that I don't have the ability right now to continue to be solid, consistent, and reliable. And we're gonna get into those maybe not in this video, but um, again, we're trying to gather awareness, and because there are tools and systems to everything that we talk about, but again, awareness is half the battle. So start paying attention.